For over 40 years, SCM
has been the voice of our town,
bringing us together through local programming,
education,
and live broadcasts.
SCM isn't just about television.
It's about empowering our community,
ensuring our voices are heard during government meetings,
and celebrating milestones
like our high school graduations.
But today, SCM faces a challenge.
Our funding structure is based on television subscriptions.
And it's no secret, people have been cutting the cord.
With a shift to internet-only subscriptions,
SCM receives less revenue,
even though all our programming is freely available online.
We need your support.
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 Your donation can make a difference.
It will ensure that SCM remains open,
continues to educate our youth,
and keeps our community informed.
Thanks to SCM, I've been honing my creative skills, helping me work towards my college degree.
SCM is crucial for keeping our community connected.
SCM isn't just here to broadcast local events. They're actually preserving Simsbury's history.
Join us.
Join us in preserving Simsbury's voice.
Simsbury's voice.
Together we can ensure that SCM continues to thrive
for generations to come.
Visit our website
or scan the QR code on your screen to make your donation.
Every contribution
counts.
Thank you for supporting Simsbury Community Media,
where your town,
your schools,
and your government
come together.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First up on our agenda is the correspondence. Do you want to read that for us?
I will read that.
Thank you.
Police Commission correspondence dated December 16, 2024, summary of letters. Received from U.S. Homeland Security in reference to Officer Detective Devon and Sergeant May. The Officer of Homeland Security wrote a letter of commendation for Detective Devon and Sergeant May, whose exceptional work during a joint investigation with Homeland Security was instrumental in ensuing justice for the victim in this case. Their commitment to professionalism and persistence played a critical role in the investigation's success. Their work reinforced the trust our community places in law enforcement professionals, and they have set a high standard for excellence that others should aspire to. Excellent. Received from Simsbury Cemetery Association, reference Lieutenant Samselsky. Subject, the Simsbury Cemetery Association extends their thanks to Lieutenant for helping set up restricted parking for the Simsbury Torchlight Celebration. He went above and beyond and was at what was asked for him, and they are very grateful. End of correspondence.
Okay. Next up is the approval of minutes. Can I get a motion?
I move to approve the Police Commission regular meeting minutes from November 13th, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next up is the chairperson's report. I am going to actually defer over to Jenna because she went to the tri-board meeting first.
I went to the tri-board meeting where it was the Board of Selectmen, the Board of Finance, and the Board of Ed. And the Board of Finance kind of laid out the parameters for the budget. In short, surprising no one, there's very little money this year. The grand list is shrinking, and so it is a result. At this point, they don't have all of the final numbers. They're recommending that the Board of Selectmen as well as the Board of Ed cut their budgets, like dial it back. So one thing that I thought was interesting was they noted, the Board of Finance noted that fixed costs are not really fixed, which I think is important for us because while our salary is a fixed cost, it's not truly fixed, and a lot of our contracts for computer services and whatnot are fixed costs, but they're not technically fixed. So it was nice that they noted that there is some variability in that. And this doesn't have to do with the tri-board, but I did go to the Stuff a Cruiser yesterday, and it was amazing. They were able to fill the Tahoe, the ACO vehicle, as well as one of the regular cruisers. So it was a good turnout.
Yeah, I
know
was
they're
there
doing today. Did you go today?
I went yesterday, and they had I can't remember what it was, the Lions Club, I think, had a minivan. They backed it up, and they're just shoveling bags of toys out. It was great. It was really, really exciting.
So
good to see.
It was a good event, and I assume they're out there now in the rain.
I think till 7 o'clock.
Is amazing, and sorry to miss it.
Oh, okay.
That's all I've got.
Alrighty, and I don't have anything to add to that. So, any questions or discussion? Okay. So, we'll move right along to the chairperson's report. Sorry. I'm having a day. The chief's report.
I have no report.
Really?
Really? I have no report. Right. So just what's included in here.
Okay.
Yep.
Can't you throw me off like that?
Make something up quick.
All right, so going on to look at the consolidated monthly report. Did anyone have any questions about the consolidated monthly report?
I did not.
Or the preliminary one?
I'm good.
Okay, so my next question then is, do we move on to, do we go into special session to go over the operating budget?
No, I did have a quick question about the year-to-date budget. I just note that in the overtime, we're already at, we're shockingly close to where we should be.
Yes.
According to this.
Yes, we are.
And we never see that, and I wanted to note it and to find out, is that accurate?
Yes, it's accurate. It's just.
Okay.
It could change at any particular
Right.
moment. Yeah, it's been like that for a long time.
It's like, cool.
So now the hopeful part is that we have 3 people on field training right now, and hopefully we will see 1 come off within the next 2 weeks, and then the other 2 it'll be a bit longer, but it'll be still within this fiscal year, and hopefully we will have the return of 2, potentially 3 officers who have been out for extended leave within the next month or so. Okay. So we made it continue to trend in a good direction.
It's exciting to see that it wasn't
Yes.
hanging off the cliff already.
Yeah.
That was my only question. Thank you.
Alrighty, we're just moving along really fast here. So from the, we'll just go on to the operating budget for fiscal year 26.
Okay, I'm just curious.
I can start that off if you'd like. So there are generally 4 separate budgets that we all have to bring forward. The police budget, dispatch, animal control, and civil or emergency preparedness. Just for a little bit of history, the police and dispatch all used to be together, and then several years ago we separated that out, finding that it was a little bit more accurate and a good way to look at things to see specifically things that were for dispatch as opposed to the entire police department. But within the police budget is the civilian personnel besides the dispatchers and all the things associated with that. And then animal control has it separate. And the civil preparedness is mostly our townwide Everbridge system. It's the notification system that we have, as well as the maintenance costs of the radio system that we share. And then there's a little bit in there to coordinate with the emergency management to see if we need to do anything collectively as a group. So, keeping in mind what the tri-board has said, which we were given, sort of advance notice that would be what was expected. We went through, I got feedback again from the lieutenants on their respective areas that they have control over on a regular basis, and again, started shaving as much as we possibly could, looking at what we've done over the last 4 to 5 years, what our expected needs are, and this is what we came up with. And, to no surprise, the full-time salary was the driving factor for the increase here. So that's $303,000, $304,000. Some contractual obligations there. The whole police budget shows a 7% increase, and that is 3/4 of that. And then two other items are directly related to that, which one would be overtime, and then the holiday pay. So again, part of the contractual agreement was the police union gets an additional holiday next year, so that's 12 holidays instead of 11, and they get the option of either getting that paid out to them at time and a half, or to take vacation time in lieu of that. So those are the major drivers of this budget here. I think it's adequate to keep us sort of status quo. There are no additional personnel asked for in this. I'm somewhat disappointed that we're not able to follow the Certus study and seek additional personnel, but we've had such difficulty filling police vacancies as it is. And as you recall, we held off this year on asking for more because we've been, on average down 2 police officers for years. So there's no sense in taxing for that if we haven't been able to fill that. With the understanding of if we get to full staff, we're going to start to have those conversations really quickly to look at potentially planning for attrition or planning for future additions, but there's no guarantee there. So this budget does not have any additional personnel besides what we currently have or been authorized for today. Any specific questions about the police budget?
I do. I have a couple actually I wrote them down.
Sure.
Obviously I see that the overtime budget is 30% higher.
Yep.
And I understand why. With the new, I don't know, can we talk contract?
To a degree.
Okay, if something comes up, let me know.
Yeah, so it's been ratified.
Okay.
The final document has not been put together and agreed upon yet. Actually, it's been put together, but it hasn't been agreed upon as that's the language that was understood. But,
okay.
And it hasn't been published. So to a degree, you've talked about it.
All right, and if it's something we can't, just let me know. We'll
Right,
we'll shut that off. Basically, and I know pretty much the driving force for the overtime. Obviously, you said before you were 25% down on patrol.
Yes.
And we kind of know why. Did the sick time clause kind of get rectified within the negotiations? Okay, so we kind of.
Yep, so they're moving to a sick bank structure.
Okay, so it's no longer unlimited, so you can just kind of.
No longer unlimited.
Right, all right.
Yep. Which I have to say, we showed no pattern of that being, a major issue here anyways. It's been what was the driving factor for our sick replacement.
Right,
was the long term.
It's right, and it's not the onesie twosies, the guys gets the flu or something like that. That's not an issue at all. That happens.
Yes.
It's the 12, 18, 24 month sicks that I think are affecting it.
Yeah, there were several changes that have addressed all of that.
Okay, so that's been kind of rectified.
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That should bring down your overtime budget a little bit, along with the addition of the officers coming on. And that was one of the things I wanted. My other question was the contractual services. Is that somebody you hired to negotiate for you guys?
No, none of that's in here.
Okay.
The contractual services are things like our CAD system.
Okay, all right, I understand.
Yeah.
All right, contracts you have for,
Yeah,
I
contracts,
understand.
yeah.
Okay.
Not all of the contracts are in there. Some of these things
Yep.
could be, eventually moved around to be maybe in more appropriate categories, but no, it has nothing to do with.
Okay, understood. Okay, and that's what I want to know. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question about the police vehicles.
Yes.
So we're looking to purchase more vehicles?
3, yeah. So, and that was actually in the capital budget, so you guys approved that before. They show it in operating. It's something that we do every single year. It stems from here and then gets pulled right away to go into the CNR, the capital fund, because I think it's easier to manage that way. There were times where we may order a cruiser in 1 year and we're not able to pay for it until the next year because it's not built yet.
Okay.
We didn't have access to it.
Okay.
So those have already been approved by the board, this board, by way of capital, but it has to be shown in here as well.
And the funding source is the private duty fund, typically? Like we usually end up, maybe, do I remember that correctly, or did that change?
No, I think,
Okay.
yeah, I think you're right.
I had a question about contractual services, not these ones, but two things. One, I know we're switching to doing more in-house training. Is that reflected? I didn't know what it would be called in the budget to make sure, since we're no longer going out to West Hartford,
right,
that we have a funding source.
Yeah,
budget for.
Yeah, so we never had to pay for the classes and attendance and things like that through West Hartford. It was something that they provided to the region.
Okay.
The largest hit to that was coordinating, and it hit overtime.
Okay.
On either the officer being paid overtime or replacing them on a shift. And we are still experiencing that now because instead of going to West Hartford, it's here. The one benefit about West Hartford with the scheduling aspect was it was over the course of 9 months. So we could pick and choose and have, 2 or 3 officers go 1 week and in maybe their normal rotation of when they are scheduled to work, where we don't have the personnel here to run it 9 months out of the year. So they condensed it all to 4 4-day periods. So we had kind of a massive amount of overtime in that short period of time. And, they did basically a poll throughout the department. Would you rather, spread this out over time or just sort of get it done? And it was get it done was the majority. And I think that frees us up for other things as well, especially those who are actually doing the training, because we're trying to use as many people in-house to actually do the training. We have some very talented people, and we're looking to get more of our officers and staff members trained to teach some of those classes. In fact, some of them even aren't officers, they're department members, but they're not officers, and they have an interest in teaching and have expertise in some things. For next year, we're hoping to pair up with another department. We tried that this year and sort of pool our resources for instructors, and the other department just was not prepared yet. So I don't know if they will be by September, but that may help with a little bit of the stress. But as far as your question goes, that's in the overtime area.
Okay.
So we realize that it's costing us a little bit more to do it this way, but we really didn't have much of a choice because the model that West Hartford and the departments that were going there changed so drastically that we did not feel that an online model would work for us.
And there's not, I was thinking like costs of bullets or stuff with which you get trained on.
So that was, we would provide that anyways.
Okay, that wasn't something that we paid West Hartford and now we're.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah, we would bring our own stuff for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Along the same thing, I know we've upgraded the tasers, we've upgraded the guns, like everything has been the less lethal launchers.
Yep.
At this point, is there any equipment that is starting to get dated that we would want to think, if not in 26, maybe 27, that we need to keep an eye on to replace, update, so forth?
Yeah. So nothing that's come to my attention.
Okay.
I think what we're seeing more of is like new technology that's coming around to us, and it may not be so new for us, but like or new to law enforcement, but like the flock of cameras. That's sort of been the push for law enforcement, that type of technology. I don't think anything that fits what you're saying. There are some things that we are looking at. In fact, we are trying 2 things right now. They're in 2 of our cruisers, and they're designed to give the drivers advance notice of a potential intersection crash. So they are, if you have your emergency lights and siren going, and another cruiser does, they can tell where they are, and then it does some activation in the car to notify them. So we're trying those out, and then it also does some other really interesting things too. It lets us see where the officers are on a map much more accurately than our CAD system does. So there's an assurance factor to it, but also a safety factor to be able to find out where a car is if they're not responding to us. So we're testing that out, and timing is not great because we have that for just over a year, and our budget starts. So we'll have to work with the vendor if we think that's a good one to have. It's roughly $360 per car per year. But I think we're the first in the region to try it out.
What is our sorry, it wasn't my own thing. What's our retirement schedule looking like as far as eligibility? Do we have a lot of folks eligible for retirement in 26, fiscal year 26?
We do. Basically the same folks we had last year.
Okay, I didn't know if we got some new ones mixed in.
No. So we have 3 that are over 25 years. We then have a 3 or 4 year gap, but we have several members who are over 53.
But there's not a new group. There's that gap, so there's not a new group that would be eligible.
There's not yet, no. And that's a good point because under the contractual services, if you recall, this year we opted not to budget for promotional exams, and that if we felt we needed them because they're costly, anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 per test, that we felt that if we needed that, then we would go back to the boards for supplemental requests to go through that. And so far, we've made it through without that. As we go into next year, there's already some discussion about potentially some retirements that hold rank here. So we may need to have that. So what I did was, instead of putting in this budget funding for 2 tests, I did what I thought would probably cover 1 test. So kind of went halfway there. And we would do the same thing. If we felt there was a need for it, we needed additional funding for it, then we would move as soon as we knew that to ask for supplemental.
The dispatch budget, I had a question about the contractual services.
Yep.
And the large increase in that.
Yes. So last March, we put in for a congressional grant for that call handling software, primarily to replace the card file system that we have for medical calls, but it also handles like police and fire specific calls, so we can arrange that if somebody calls and says X is happening, then you can go through a computer program and try to get you to the most efficient resources to send. There is a $10,000 a year estimated warranty or service or licensing for that. Yeah, it is costly. I just followed up with them over the weekend, the Congressional Directed Spending Group, and it looks like we were given that. I just don't have the actual email that says you were definitely awarded this.
Okay.
But he said you should have received one saying that you did.
Okay.
There was a notification by way of press release and websites and the Current earlier this year saying that it went forward one more step, but it had not been fully authorized or awarded yet, but it looks like we did get that. So that additional funding and dispatches to handle that annual cost.
Okay. So if we got the grant, then why do
No, so the grant is for the product, to buy the product itself, which is like $65,000 to $70,000.
Okay.
And then there's almost $10,000 a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the this is not the right terminology, the grant that pays for the salary of an officer?
Yeah.
That's not part of congressional spend. That's a different grant than this one.
The cops grant?
Yes.
Yes, it's different.
And did we hear anything? Did we apply for it? I can't remember.
We didn't apply for it this year. Last year we did, and
We didn't get it. Okay.
Anyone else have any questions about the dispatch? And then, okay, animal control budget. Again, likewise, I don't know, maybe we didn't budget for as much last year because we didn't have one in that position for a long time, but for the conference education.
Oh, yeah, so the conference and education, that one went up, but it only went up $475. So all we had budgeted was $125. And there's an annual course that they have to go to, which I think is around $100 or so. But, you know, as we have been seeing, Debbie's very interested in going to as many classes as possible. And I think it's great. So she already went to one this year that was above that. So I thought we'd raise it a little bit and see what other classes come along, and hopefully she'll actually be teaching a couple classes too, because she's very knowledgeable.
As an aside, when I was doing the stuff at Cruiser yesterday, a family came up and was so appreciative of her, as well as JP, their dog had been attacked by a coyote, severely hurt, a coyote that had killed their neighbor's dog. And this woman, this resident, was able to say, like, thank you so much, and was just very grateful for the work that they did, so that was nice to hear.
She's not post-certified, is she? She's not, okay. Just curious, I was just curious if they are or not. I couldn't remember.
Not here.
Alrighty. Anything else? Anybody else have any?
No, I think it's a good budget. As always, I'm disappointed that we can't get more officers to bring us up to at least the service study and the comparable towns and all of the various ratios. Unfortunately, even if we had the money, I don't know that we could find people, which is another disappointing aspect. But
yeah, and the other aspect of that study relating to the budget was a recommendation for another records clerk. So we are in the process right now of filling that spot anyways, and I think this will give us some time to see how it works out and how much more we may need, and then maybe move in that direction for the following budget.
along the personnel thing, I was invited to participate in a committee at the high school where they're looking at alternative high school graduation plans instead of just going straight to a four-year college. And there was some talk about ROTC, and I thought about the police department as well. So at some point, that might be a way that we could bring you guys in to talk to the school counselors, or if you have ideas you'd like me to bring up. Because I said, yes, absolutely, we would like that.
I was asked to participate in that career type thing in April there.
And our eyes up.
Maybe that's right.
You don't require a degree to be an officer.
No, the state has gone back and forth on that at times, and CALIA, or National Accreditation, has gone back and forth on that as well.
Alrighty, so do we need to make a motion for this one as well?
Yes, I move to approve the proposed fiscal year 26 budgets, all four. The police department budget, the dispatch budget, the animal control budget, and the civil preparedness budget, effective today.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Alright, and move along to old business. Do you have any business?
Nope. I move to adjourn the meeting at 5:29 p.m. The glare was killing me.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.